If I had to sum up today's video in a single word, it would be desperation. I think desperation is kind of like fear. Like when I was a kid, they said if you're ever in the water and there's sharks, don't show them your fear because they're going to smell it. And you know, I was actually told a lot of weird things as a kid, and I have no idea if that's actually true. But one thing I know for sure is if you are showing desperation on the internet, people can sense it from a mile away. And that's exactly what's going on with this Katy Perry situation. I think the phrase ruin their career gets thrown around a lot. Like, oh, so-and-so just ruined his career. This is going to ruin the tour. But I think it is the most accurate term for what is happening here. Because Katy Perry is currently just backflipping into like a nosedive. Like if the Olympics had ending your career as a sport, that's another one for Team USA right there. She's got it in the bag. So in today's lecture, I figured we'd go over the entire timeline. But first of all, welcome. My name is D'Angelo, and I am your professor of quantum culinary instruments, which is a very real degree that I definitely do have. Or maybe I'm just broadcasting myself talking in my room like YouTube used to be. Growing up, I was never really like a Katy fan, a Katy cat, I guess is the official term. I was nothing like Dave over here. He had her CDs. She was on his iPod. I knew every single lyric to California Girls, including Snoop Dogg's part. I mean, not I, Dave. Dave knew that. So at the distance from which I have observed Katy Perry's career, she's never really struck me as somebody capable of this much bag fumbling is really the only term that comes to mind. So let's get into it. So on the off chance that you've never heard of Katy Perry, don't worry, I've got you covered. Superstar pop singer and someone I would describe as the face of inescapable 2010s pop radio hits. So you've got Baby You're a Firework, You're Gonna Hear Me Roar, California Girls, they're unforgettable. Katy Perry's imperial phase can truly not be overstated. She was genuinely so popular in the early 2010s. By 2017, it looks like she was the first artist to earn 3 Diamond Song Awards. Dark Horse is also on here. I remember that was a huge one. I mean, I don't remember that because I'm not a Katy Perry fan, but Dave remembers. But no, I literally think she was at the level where even if you did not listen to her music, you probably have still heard it. So I can imagine that it came as a bit of a surprise to her that her decline was pretty swift. No, Taylor. In 2017, she released an album called Witness, and oh man. So Pitchfork gave it a 4.8 out of 10. And here's the thing, Pitchfork is not by any means the ultimate deciding factor of good music, except for when they write a review that I agree with, in which case they are obviously an objective and true source of media. But unfortunately for Katy, I pretty much have to agree with their Witness review. She tried to be really purposeful with this album. I think purposeful pop was the term she was going with. But as Pitchfork put it, she aimed for pop game Chipotle, but landed at sad fast food chain salad. The album was just bland and trying to be deep, but it wasn't that deep, and the songs, some of them were nice, but some nice songs does not a good album make. And unfortunately, I really have to agree with the 4.8. I might have given it like a 6 because I didn't think it was bad music, but then I remember how scary the album cover is, and I'm like, never mind, 4.8 is fine. But yeah, Katy Perry's Witness era was so bad that the term Witness era is now synonymous with flop. Witness era refers to an artist's career where they failed to reach the public's high standards even though they did really well and have accomplished great feats. And this part is true, by the way. Even though the album wasn't great, it was still #1. Like, the album crushed it. If a random artist had dropped Katy Perry's Witness, I really think a lot of people would be kind of shook by its performance. But for somebody who started off as high as Katy Perry, this was actually the beginning of the end. Her next album was called Smile, which came in 2020, and that one wasn't just critically panned, it was commercially just not great. So Smile debuted at #5 on the album's chart, and it was her first album since 2008 to not reach #1. And then it free fell 49 spots in the second week, an additional 50 spots in the third week, 60 more spots the next one, and then it left. It's gone. It's no longer in the chart after that. It hit the charts, but it didn't make a dent. It also doesn't help that Katy Perry was getting literally the exact same criticism that she was last time. She described Smile as her journey towards the light, with stories of resilience, hope, and love. Primarily a pop record, Smile is characterized by themes of self-help and empowerment. And listen, I'm not here to say that pop music can never be deep, because that is just frankly not true. I've heard all kinds of songs that are like clever or sad or kind of weirdly specific to where I wind up hyperfixating on them and then they just change the trajectory of my life. But suffice it to say, Smile by Katy Perry did not really fit that bill. So that has all just been backstory, right? That's a very brief recap of the highs, the lows, the fairly natural trajectory that is Katy Perry. I think declining in popularity over like a long period of time, there's nothing wrong with that. That's just pretty much how things work. But then she came back. And I truly believe the last 2 months have done more to harm her reputation than Smile and Witness ever could. So she comes back with a teaser for a song called Woman's World. And oh man. Sexy, confident, so intelligent. Sexy, confident, so intelligent. But don't forget, so soft and so strong. So soft, so strong. And you know, I have heard mid snippets for songs that wound up being surprisingly fire, but I was really confused as to how this could possibly be for a good song. But I said to myself, you know what? Maybe this small section does not represent the whole song and the rest of it's like a subversive banger or something. Or at least that's what I would like to say, I thought. But actually, I just thought to myself, wow, this sounds really bad and this song is going to be a train wreck. And that's pretty much the vibe of like almost everyone in the comments. I'm so sorry, but this is not it. Girl, are you okay? This was not it. It's giving AI generated tampon commercial. This is insane to think you should come back with this. We got toilet paper commercial in there. Like, I don't think the song was offensive in any way. It's just, as this person says, so very basic. The lyrics sound incredibly similar to the song I made up and sang to my dog. And so, you know, people thinking you sound like AI or corporate music is not a good start, but Katy Perry was not to be dissuaded. So 2 days later, she proudly shares with the world the list of producers she has on this album. And people are a little concerned to see one name there, Dr. Luke. Katy knew exactly the album she wanted to make and put together the team to make it happen. It's just kind of unfortunate that that team included an alleged rapist. Like, the only two things anyone really knows about Dr. Luke is that he produces a ton of bangers, including, by the way, a lot of Katy Perry's old music, but also that the singer Kesha brought out some really serious allegations against him. And these allegations were never proven in a court of law. In fact, this actually went back and forth for years before eventually being settled out of court, as Wikipedia says. But make no mistake, just because the justice system cannot prove that something happened, which, by the way, things like this are extremely difficult to prove, that does not mean Kesha is a liar. I mean, if you think the justice system is actually always on the side of justice, I genuinely don't know what to tell you. And so many people in the music industry do not work with Dr. Luke for obvious reasons. In fact, Katy Perry herself said years ago that she didn't want it to seem like she was picking a side, which is why she did not work with Dr. Luke for her album Witness. But are you starting to see how she didn't work with him for Witness? Witness did not perform very well. She puts out another album, it does even worse. And now that she has another album to sell us, all of a sudden she's totally cool with Dr. Luke, the person who produced the majority of her actual successful music. Can you kind of see why the motivation here was not sitting right with people? I'm just saying, working with known abusers in any industry just contributes to the narrative that men can do abhorrent things and get away with it. But then there's levels to this, right? Because Katy Perry's vibe is like empowerment and all this stuff. The song is called Woman's World, but that seems to contradict the message of working with Dr. Luke even more. Releasing a woman's empowerment song with an abuser as the producer is insane and totally tone deaf. I feel like tone deaf doesn't even begin to cover it. It's actually delusional as hell to sit there and put out a woman's empowerment song that's produced by someone who has literally abused women before. Someone even kind of asked Katy in real life, yo, did you actually think that was a good idea? And her answer may surprise you.
Katy, is there a reason why you work with Dr. Luke?
Isn't your album about women empowerment? Why are you working with Dr. Luke? Please, Katy.
Were you totally surprised by how she didn't answer at all? And so look, as always, I cannot sit on the internet and say an allegation is true when I literally have no way of knowing. But you better believe I could at least show some basic decency and respect to Kesha by not supporting Dr. Luke. Kesha, who by the way just tweeted LOL the day Katy released the news that Dr. Luke was working with her. What sense does it make to work with this man when there are so many talented producers on this planet? There are people in their bedrooms producing things that could literally be on the radio nowadays. So Katy, before she even announced her album, just made this disastrous decision that cast the entire thing into a really weird light. And people really started to question just what exactly this women's empowerment was gonna look like once Woman's World finally came out. Katy Perry released another teaser for her new song Woman's World. People can't decide whether she's so back or desperate to relive her glory days. Sometimes an artist so profoundly encapsulates a moment in time, for Katy Perry this is the 2010s, that all attempts to revive their career after that moment feel anachronistic and out of step with modernity. Okay, honestly, I don't even know why I'm bothering making this video when there are people this eloquent online. Literally just like read this tweet 5 times and that's my video. But I don't agree with all of the criticism. She's too damn old to be doing this same stuff, no shade, chasing her glory days instead of tackling something new and fresh. I think that she's too old criticism is pointless. There are a lot of women Katy Perry's age making pop music and it sounds great and it's not cringe. Her age isn't something she's done, I guess. It's not a factor she had any control over, so I don't really see a purpose of bringing it up in this conversation. Especially when there's plenty of other things to criticize here, as you're soon about to see. Because finally, after all the teasers on July 11th, we got the Woman's World music video. Now, obviously, I cannot sit here and play copyrighted pop music for you, but maybe I can give you a recap of what I found to be cringe in this video. So maybe I can start with the part where she takes a gas station pump and shoves it into her behind. Not up it, you weirdos, but into it from like the side, which is honestly just as weird, isn't it? Why would she do that, you wonder? Well, she's playing a robot in this video that I can't even really show you because she's barely wearing any clothes, but it's a vibe. Oh, okay. So I really like the part where Trisha Paytas shows up for no reason. Yes, actually Trisha Paytas. Like, good for her. But also, what are we doing here? But by far, my favorite part is you got this black girl. She's doing a TikTok dance. Katy shows up and like rips off her dance move in real time. Yes, I'm being serious. She then steals the girl's ring light for some reason, rides off on a helicopter, and the girl's like, who are you? Like, who is this white woman who just appropriated my TikTok dance and stole my property? And Katy Perry is like, I'm Katy Perry. That's the video. Those were just cringe moments. If we look at the video as a whole, it actually turns into a completely different form of cringe. It's trying really, really hard to be satire. I can feel it, okay? Look, it says men working, and then they change it to women working, right? She's Rosie the Riveter, she's recreating all this stuff, and like the wild amounts of like shots of her body and stuff that would get me demonetized. I guess it's some sort of commentary on the fact that music videos often have a lot of shots of women's bodies, question mark? Like, there's this quote that I think about a lot, and it says, satire requires a clarity of purpose and target, lest it be mistaken for and contribute to that which it intends to criticize. Or to put it in terms that I vibe with a little more, if you're trying to make a satire of something, but you're dumb, you're probably just making the thing itself without even realizing. And like, the video is dumb. It is literally just what it's critiquing. One thing I would like to add though, I see nothing objectively wrong with what's in the video. Well, okay, hold on a second. The gas station pump and the stealing and Trisha Paytas. I see nothing wrong with Katy's decision to show off her body in a music video. She's an adult. This video is for adults. All of that is good in my book. What really just stands out to me is how hard this is trying to say something about how she's presenting herself. But much like the criticism she got for Witness, she's not saying anything at all. And we're like 7 years out from Witness at this point. I seriously think purposeful pop is just not Katy's thing. Like, I'm sorry, but these lyrics are crazy. Not just sexy, confident, intelligent, so soft, so strong. She's a winner, champion, superhuman, #1. She's a sister, she's a mother, she's a runner, she's a track star. Like, what are we saying here? And like, the chorus is just so stunningly empty. It's a woman's world and you're lucky to be living in it. You better celebrate, because baby, we ain't going away. This just in. Women will apparently continue to exist. Thank you, Katy. And I actually think this would almost be okay, because honestly, what's wrong with like a vaguely pro-woman song that just is poppy and fun and doesn't say anything at all? But putting this all under the context of the fact that this song is produced by Dr. Luke, and Katy knows Dr. Luke's situation and chose to go back to him anyway, kind of just makes the whole it's a woman's world thing seem a little weird. And the song's not even good. What in the 2014 is this? It almost sounds like it's from 2012. Anyway, everybody hated the song so much and it was so bad. Katy Perry, Woman's World Review. What aggressive warmed over hell is this? 1 star. Perry's solo return is a dated attempt at writing a feminist anthem about how women really can't have it all. It's a song that made me feel stupider every sorry time I listened to it. Every sorry time. I feel that in my soul. I actually think this is going to get added to my lexicon. Every sorry time I sit down to record like a 10-minute video, it turns into this. Katy Perry's new song Woman's World isn't as bad as we feared. It's worse. The song is a vapid attempt at female empowerment that was co-written and co-produced by Dr. Luke. Dr. Luke has been accused of abuse, making Woman's World ironic in all the wrong ways. Unless you think it was just critics, people in her comment section were going off. People who I genuinely think are fans of Katy Perry. With such a wonderful voice and the huge following you have, I wish you would have put more thought into your message of female empowerment. I urge you to write better lyrics. Girl, delete this. Your music video looks like it was made for the male gaze and the song is mid at best. Gosh, is that it? This might be like the harshest comment. I had higher expectations with all the plugging that's been done for this song. 5 of 10. It's crazy because like hatred and anger and sadness and all of these are such strong emotions, but sometimes disappointment really just hits different. And so what exactly was Katy's response to all of this? Well, she hit us with the guys. It was just satire. I was being sarcastic.
You can do it. You go, girl. You were born to shine. And we're kind of just having fun, being a bit sarcastic with it.
So you're making fun of feminism? I asked this comment, which I think is a very good question. It's kind of the same question I asked about the video. Like, what are you saying about this topic? You know what I think the most accurate thing I can say about this video? And truly, I hate to say this, but if I was genuinely just like some ugly guy who thought all of this feminism stuff was stupid, I didn't believe in any of it, I thought it all looked dumb and it was empty and it didn't mean anything, and I tried to make a music video to convey that, do you know what it would look like? This. Exactly like this, shot for shot, beat for beat. So if that doesn't tell you that there's a bit of a messaging error here, I don't know what does.
It's like, ooh, we're not about the male gaze, but we really are about the male gaze. And we're really overplaying it.
I genuinely cannot make this up. It just doesn't work. And it turns out it didn't work on the charts either because that song ate dirt fast. Katy Perry's new single is a serious streaming disappointment. So it debuted at number 110 on Spotify's US charts. And then the very next day, it actually disappeared. It never cracked the upper half of the 200 spot list, and it hasn't managed to return to the roster yet. That's a shockingly bad run for a single that must have cost millions, including promotion and a big budget visual. Didn't seem to fare much better on the Billboard charts, debuting at 63, only being on the chart for a week, and then that's just the end of the story. I see she once had a song on the charts called Circle the Drain, and I'm thinking that might have been a better title for Woman's World. Oh, she could have gone with When I'm Gone from the charts. The one that got away from the Billboard Hot 100. Okay, I need to stop. I'm being mean. You did all of this for a flop. You brought back one of the people behind some of the biggest hits of your career, and then y'all could not even engineer another hit. LOL indeed. Then she released another track, actually very recently. So this one is called Lifetimes, and if you're wondering if it's like any more interesting than Woman's World, I guess. I don't know. I mean, I agreed with this comment that said this would be a good theme song for the next season of Love Island. Every H&M worldwide is rushing to add this to their playlist. I'll shop here for life. That would actually go kind of hard. It's just boring, bro. Like, she goes to Ibiza in the video and she doesn't even take a pill. It's literally just like a travel vlog. I don't know if the idea was just like, oh, we kind of pissed off everyone with Woman's World, so let's release a song so boring you couldn't possibly get mad at it. But it turns out nobody could possibly listen to it either because Katy Perry's new single is another streaming misfire. Y'all, it opened at number 198 of 200. If a butterfly flapped its wings in the opposite direction, Katy Perry, of all people, would not have even charted on Spotify's US list. This is so so bad. So imagine my surprise when it literally got worse. Remember how I said she was like hanging out in Ibiza? She was in Spain. It was kind of like a travel thing. Well, tell me why the local Spanish government had to investigate her crew for filming there without authorization because she was in a protected environmental area. The government of the Balearic Islands, they released this press statement. It says, Agricultura, pesca y... Just kidding. Did you actually think I could read Catalan? Like, guys, I am smart, but I am still American. So I'm gonna do the no and use Google Translate. I know this is probably not a good translation, but something tells me the message is still getting across here. The production company responsible for the recording of Katy Perry's video in Ibiza had not requested authorization from the ministry for filming. So they're basically saying in the areas where she was, they don't think she damaged them. That's not what they're accusing her of. But you are supposed to receive permission before you film there. Katy's team has come out and tried to like soft deny this. Katy Perry adhered to all regulations while filming at dunes in Spain, says team. We have the utmost respect for this location. So their story is that we have since learned that one permit was in process, although we were given verbal authority to go ahead. So they claim that someone said, yeah, sure, you guys are fine, but no one actually saw anything official. And at this point, it's just they said, so who really knows? But it's pretty safe to say the damage was done. Maybe not to the environment, but definitely to Katy Perry's reputation here. A timeline of Katy Perry's disastrous comeback as Spanish authorities investigate her new music video. Katy Perry's anti-brat album Rollout is cursed. Her first single was panned and now the singer's being investigated by Spain's environmental authorities. She's stuck in a toxic narrative. Katy Perry's rough album Rollout explained. Lifetime struggles and attracts controversy weeks after Woman's World. Forbes, Business Insider, GQ, these are not the people you want calling your album Rollout cursed. It's one thing if internet people spin something into an internet story, as I have been known to do. But clearly there is like no charitable interpretation of this, even from publications that are usually pretty nice to her. This album is basically cooked. Again, my verdict is not Katy Perry is too old to be popular. The music industry does have a very serious ageism problem, but I think it's safe to say that's not quite what's happening here. I think Katy Perry has a really serious Katy Perry problem. I feel like if Katy Perry is not careful, then the term witness era that we use to refer to flops, one day it's just going to be Katy Perry era. But that's my take on the situation. Dave's take on the situation is that as a Katy cat himself, he was just immensely disappointed by all of this news. And I'm curious to know what your take is. I mean, this is the part of the video where a layman would ask you to subscribe, like the video, leave a comment, but I will ask you to enroll, evaluate the video, and leave your feedback. Because I am, of course, running a 100% completely for real this time. No, guys, I promise, don't look too closely at the paperwork. Accredited university. Potentially. Just ask anybody in the student body and they'll confirm it. It's totally legit. And as for me, whether you'll see me in 24 hours or 24 months is anyone's guess, but until then, thank you for watching. And remember, it's a woman's world, and I would honestly be lucky if I never had to hear that song ever again.